Want to have the most broken, the most OP, the one-shot build that's going to pretty much break the game, break the bosses like you're seeing right now in the video? Today, I'm going to give you guys the most OP build that you will see in all Lords of Fallen. I'm telling you, this is going to make your gameplay feel super duper hard and go from that to completely easy. It's going to also feel like you guys are cheating or you're using some sort of cheat because it is just that good. Now, there is one downside to this build, that is ammunition, and that is reload time. But you guys don't have to worry because I have you completely covered where that is not going to be a problem. So if you like how that sounds, a like would be greatly appreciated. And let's dive in and take a look at the one-shot build. One of the coolest things about Lords of the Fallen is that it doesn't require you to run a specific class to run a specific build. And I know a lot of people would probably recommend, if you're trying to get this build, to go ahead and start off with a class that already comes with a crossbow or a class that already comes with a, with a ammunition pouch. I am going to tell you completely different. I'm going to tell you either start out with the Radiance class or any other class that is going to allow you to perform really well until you get the parts you need in order to make this build. Because I have to be completely honest, you are not going to automatically start with this particular build right off the start. You're going to have to collect some parts. Now, one thing this build is amazing for, if you plan on 8 NGM plussing, if you plan on completing some quest lines after you're completely done with the game, this build is the one you're going to want to go with because it just makes everything easy. Bossing, PvP, PvE, whatever it is. So, with that being said, guys, let's take a look at the pretty much the attribute stats where you want to put them. I'm going to start off from the beginning part and I'll take you through the middle part and to the end goal where you want to be with this particular build. And then we're going to be talking about the items. In addition to that, I'm going to show you guys exactly where to get these items at the end of the video. So if you're trying to find out the 3 main specific items that are going to make this build completely broken, then you're definitely going to want to make sure you check this out. All right, so let's take a look at the attribute points. Now, I personally prefer you guys going with a Radiance or an Inferno build or any other build that's not tied to running a bow and ammunition, because at the early stages, it's going to be very difficult for you guys because you're going to be missing arrows, you're going to be missing ammunition pouches, and that's going to kind of delay you. To get this build started, you want to get there as quickly as you possibly can to get the really OP stuff, and we're going to jump right in and talk about that. So, let's start off with the first thing. So, of course, always guys start off with Vitality. This is going to be your starting point. You're going to want to get this to 20. That's going to be the sweet spot. Should carry you to level 1 and level 2 around that particular area. We're going to dump a couple points into Endurance. We're going to get this to 15 because we want to be able to move and kind of dodge bullets left and right. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping a couple points into Strength. This should help us when we're using weapons. Should keep us in a good spot. Now, we're going to cap this all the way to 16, and we're going to leave it there and not touch it. This should get you pretty much into like level 3, level 2, and you should be fine with this particular build because you're going to be casting magic. This is an Inferno character, or if you're a Radiance character, you should be able to be casting magic with this particular build. Next up, guys, since we're working our way there, we're going to be dumping points. If you're running a Radiance build or an Inferno build, you're going to dump the points into here and try to maximize it to 25. That's going to be your goal. That's just so you keep progressing as you go. Now, if you're running a Radiance, you want to do 25 on Radiance, okay? And after this, you guys should just be able to go. You can get some magic and you work your way that way. Next, we're going to go ahead and prioritize our Radiance again. And we're going to do this to 12 and leave it there. The rest of the points, we're just going to be dumping in Agility because by this time, you're mid-game and you should be already getting crossbows and bolts. Pretty much, which is going to be our main build here and our main bread and butter until we get the actual weapon we really want. So what we're going to do, guys, is just keep dumping points into Agility. Our main end goal is going to be 75. So what you want to do is you want to get this to 40 and then dump points somewhere else if you want to Vitality. Okay, so we're going to dump, let's get this to 30 here. And what we're going to keep doing is as we keep progressing, we're going to keep dumping points. All right, so we're going to go back to 4. We're going to get this to 30 again here just to maximize Vitality and Endurance. And then dump another 10 points into Agility here, get it to 50. And then Vitality to 40. And last but not least, Endurance to 40. And then the rest of the points, we're just going to dump them into Agility, which should leave us at 75, which is our cap point. Now, that's where we want to be at 75. Out of that, everything looks good. The only other thing we need to do is jump the rest of the points into Radiance, and that's going to leave our Radiance at 20, our Inferno at 25, our Vitality at 40, Endurance at 40, Agility at 75, and strength at 16. The reason we left strength at 16 is because we are running a specific weapon that the requirement is 16, so we want to make sure we have that cap ready to go. Now, the beautiful thing about this particular build, guys, is that you're not going to be taking damage. You're going to be doing the damage. So let's take a look at the stuff we're running. All right, so the main weapon we're shooting for, guys, is we're trying to get the Hero Dervless crossbow. Now, we want to get this weapon as quickly as we possibly can, because this weapon is what's going to make this game go from super hard to super easy. And this one, you're going to be getting it by killing, of course, the Hero Derva, which is going to be located almost towards midway to the game. Now, this is completely leveled to +5. That's as high as it goes. It comes with an A rating of agility and strength. So if you wanted to dump more points into strength as opposed to Inferno and Radiance, you possibly could. But that's going to be your personal opinion. I personally think that that 16 is fine. It should do a good amount of damage. Now, another thing and weapon that we're running is we're running the Jeffrey's daggers. You don't need to run these, but you could run any dagger that gives you a really good rating when it comes to agility. I personally ran this because this scales off Inferno, it scales off Radiance, and since we dumped a little bit points into there, it has an A+ rating for agility. This is a very good weapon to use, and it also applies wither damage, which makes it really important. Now, as far as the bolts we're running in our weapon, we're running explosive bolts. These are going to be your AoE control bolts that you're going to want to run. These are going to make your life super easy. When there's a lot of mobs around you, you want to use these. The next ones we run is the cinder bolts, and these are particularly going to be allowing you to inflict fire damage. These come super duper handy towards like the mid end of the game, because a lot of the enemies are very vulnerable to fire, and that's going to allow you to kind of just melt them really fast. And the last thing we're running is the wither bolts. Now, the wither bolts are extremely awesome because they do two things. Now, you're probably wondering, Laser, why are you recommending bolts that do damage instead of recommending something that does physical damage? So this one, as you guys see, this one does 1007 physical damage. Now, the problem I have with that is that sometimes the enemies are more vulnerable to any sort of infliction you could apply on them. So you just want to make sure you're using the right bolts to apply not only the physical damage, because you see this one has 542 physical damage and 536 fire damage, so it's applying both of them at the same time. So that's the reason I like it. Now, the reason I like the explosive bolts is just pretty much AoE. So you can alternate between these if you just want to do physical damage, and these if you just want to do AoE damage. But the wither bolts, I love them, dude, because they do 542 damage and almost 600 wither damage, which is really crazy and really insane. And if the enemy gets closer, you can just hit them a little bit with your daggers, and you're good to go. Now, as far as armor is concerned, guys, armor doesn't really matter. The only thing you want to look for armor is you want to make sure that your encumbrance is lower than your middle row. So I am running the Sin Piercer helm. This is just aesthetic looks, the Trapper garb, the Abyss wrappings, and the leg wrappings here. But you can run whatever you want. Just make sure you're not going over medium. Now, here is where the bread and butter comes with this particular build that we have. All right, so this is the main thing. You're going to want to be running called the Inner Serpent Pendant. Now, the beautiful thing about this pendant is that it negates one of the most annoying things about this build, and that is the reload. Because the reload on this particular crossbow, it's a little bit annoying. You're constantly reloading. You're like, oh crap, why do I have to be rolling every time? And sometimes you forget to reload, and it just becomes too slow of a gameplay. This makes the gameplay go a lot faster, because what this does is that every time you dodge, your crossbow will reload automatically, which is amazing because that allows you to get back into the fight fast. The next thing I'm running, guys, is the ring called the Black Feather Ranger Ring. And what this is going to do is going to deal additional damage with the bows and crossbows. Now, you can theoretically run 2 of these. So on your second playthrough, if you pick up another one, you can put this, or you can have a buddy of yours drop it if they're not running any ranged weapons. And this will exponentially increase the damage for you. But I personally prefer this ring called the Lucent Sword Ring. The reason I like this ring is because it's going to deal additional physical damage when your health is full or almost full. Theoretically, with this particular build, your health is always going to be maxed out or semi-maxed out. That this ring is going to come in handy. But if you don't want to use this one, you can run another Black Feather Ranger ring and not worry about your health, and you're still going to be doing a good amount of damage. Now let's talk about this stuff that we're using to maximize this particular build. So as you saw, we got rid of one problem, which was the reloading. Now we got to get rid of the second problem, which is ammunition, because going through ammunition pouches could be a big of a pain. And we're going to actually solve this issue by actually doing a eye socket that we're able to apply within our Umbral lamp. And that eye socket is the following, guys. We're going to be using this one called the Umbral Eye of Lydia the Numb Witch. Basically what this does is that when you put this in the main socket, so you want to make sure that you put this on your number 1 slot. When you're using ranged weapons without ammunition, it's going to cost you withered health. So basically your ammo is going to be being subtracted from your health, and it's going to be applying wither health to your health bar. Now the beauty about this is that you're going to see how we compensate this, because you're probably wondering, LaserBolt, we're going to be losing health when we're using this. You may be losing health, but we're going to be getting it back, so don't worry about that. So every time you run out of ammo, you're just going to, like, that's what you see in the gameplay. I have 0 ammo, but I'm still going through it, is because what I'm doing is that it's applying wither health to my health, but it's using wither to get my ammo back, and that negates the second problem. Now we do have a third problem right here, where you're probably saying, Laser, my health, what are we going to do with that? And we're going to show you guys exactly how we're going to fix that. And the way we're going to fix it, guys, is by applying runes into our weapon. So our dagger has the possibility of applying 3 slots into the rune slot. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to want to maximize the potential that damage we're able to do with our weapon. And in order to do that, guys, you're going to want to get this item here called the Elstrick. And what this is going to allow you to do, it's going to increase the damage of ranged and throwable weapons. So we have 2 of these slotted, because with one playthrough you're able to get 2 of them. Now if you have a friend of yours that doesn't use this and wants to drop it, you could theoretically apply 3 of them into one particular weapon to boost the damage even further. In my daggers, I basically have 2 of these applied, which are really awesome, and that is how we're doing, we're getting that big damage to one-shot the enemies. Now, in addition to that, guys, I am also running this rune right here, which is going to be able to get our health back. So whenever we kill an enemy, it's going to be able to get the health back whenever we do that, and that is this one called the Tumult. Now, this one you can actually buy it from the blacksmith, and you will be able to kill someone, and then once you kill them, you'll be able to get your health back. And I am running one of these in the daggers as well. Now the other thing we're running as far as runes is we're running a rune that increases physical damage, and this is going to be mostly for whenever we have to melee someone, or wherever we're using physical damage arrows that are going to be pretty potent against the enemy. Now once you have all the items completed, guys, you're just ready to go down and wreck anything that comes in your way. You guys are going to be doing so much damage. You guys are just going to be laughing on how easy it is to play this particular pretty much OP broken build that we have. Now, like I did say, I was going to share with you guys the locations of the following. I'm going to show you guys where to get the Inner Serpent Pendant. I'm going to show you guys where to get the eye socket, which is what you want for your lamp, which are the 2 main items that I feel like you're going to really need in order to make this build just completely work out, because that's the ammo regen, and that is the ability of using the, just using the crossbow and reloading without taking, without having to hit the reload button. So I'm going to show you with you guys this right now. I do hope you guys enjoyed this build. If you did, do me the huge favor, guys, drop a comment, drop a like, but most importantly, subscribe to the channel, turn on all your notifications so you guys won't miss when our videos go live, and don't forget to check out our second channel. We have more Lords of the Fallen content. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.
The hallowed sentinels will be redeemed.